Hi everyone, this is Shannon coming to you from Afghanistan with part 9 of my 10-part series, Shannon Blitzes OCD, where I talk about my strategy to overcome OCD and share a few of the techniques I developed which I found helpful. In review, change your perspective about OCD. Have a warrior attitude. Tell yourself, I'm not going to be denied. I will do what it takes. I'm trying to reclaim me. Don't forget about my 4 pillars of recovery and use them. A desire to get better, a belief that it's possible to get better, motivation as to why you want to get to that place where OCD does not adversely affect your life, and 4th, have a strategy. My strategy, 5 basic ground rules. First, you don't have to be perfect at implementing the strategy. Just try your best. If you slip up, no worries. Just get back up, keep going. 2, treat OCD as a separate entity other than yourself. I am not OCD. OCD is not me. OCD does not define me. 3, identify the thoughts that we suspect might possibly be caused by OCD and then make a decision. I'm going to treat these thoughts as OCD because they belong to OCD, not me. 4th, allow the thoughts to be in your mind. Do not resist them. Do not replace them. Be indifferent. Don't care whether they are there or not. They're just thoughts. And 5, resist giving into the compulsions at all costs. Resist, resist, resist. Today I want to talk about the concept of emotional even flow. What this stems from is my theory that OCD depends upon, in fact, thrives upon your emotional, mental, or physical response to the thoughts. On the emotional side, we also know that OCD becomes more active when you are in a heightened emotional state, right? It's looking for that vulnerability. If you think about it as an enemy just probing the perimeter of your defense and it finds a weak spot, well, it's going to exploit the weak spot, the vulnerability. If a heightened emotional state is a vulnerability, then we have to do something that makes OCD weaker and doesn't present it that opportunity. The concept of emotional even flow is something I developed, and I named it after the band Pearl Jam and one of their songs, Even Flow. The idea is that you consciously try to keep your emotions in check. That is, you try not to become too angry that you have OCD, or too frustrated that you're having OCD thought, or too sad that you're in this OCD state, and on and on and on, right? I'm not saying don't get discouraged or sad or angry. That may happen. Just try not to get too sad or angry or discouraged or frustrated, whatever the emotion is. Keep your emotions on an even keel, right? It's much easier to fend off OCD if you stay on an even keel with your emotions. And then, of course, when you have that thought, that disgusting, that deplorable, that horrifying thought that comes, try not to get emotional about it. Try not to give it an emotional response. Why? Because giving it an emotional response is exactly what OCD wants you to do. It makes it stronger. If you can stay on an even keel, if you don't care whether the thought is in your mind, if you're not giving it value, if you're indifferent, you can keep your emotions in check. And you're doing something that makes OCD weaker. All right? So that's what I wanted to talk about on emotional even flow. Let me say a word about peer support, because tomorrow in episode 10, I'm going to end with a big bang, right? Something that we can all remember. Peer support is not therapy, right? It's me or anybody else who's been through a disorder or through some traumatic time, helping other people through my own lived experience, trying to help motivate people, trying to teach people how to self-motivate. When, and I think it was in 2015, I had received a call from a therapist friend of mine, and she had a friend who was struggling really badly with OCD. So badly they had tried everything and they were ready to put her into the hospital. And she asked me if I would talk to her. She said she suffered from contamination OCD. And I said, well, I will. I'll reach out to her, but I don't know if she'll respond. I reached out. She did respond. we had a few conversations, and then she called me one night when she was trying to eat macaroni and cheese. We talked about my strategy. We talked about changing her perspective on OCD. She began to eat. We kept going, and fast forward, she now basically eats whatever she wants to and goes wherever she wants to. Her therapist called me and said, hey, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it. And she said, if you get trained in this discipline called peer support, right, I'll start referring clients to you. So I went and got trained. It's a discipline that you can be trained for. So what I would suggest, if this is something that you're interested in, as someone suffering who wants to talk to a peer, let me know. My email is shannonshy@gmail.com, or you can hit me on Facebook by private message. Or if it's something that you're interested in doing, check out your state and see if they have a program, or your country, and see if they have a program devoted to teaching people about this discipline called peer support specialist. All right, that's all I have now. Stay tuned for episode 10 tomorrow, and that will conclude our 10-part series. This has been a lot of fun for me. Hopefully it's something that you've been able to use, and it's resonating with you. Out from Afghanistan, this is Shannon Shy. Bye-bye.